Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my co-host, PK, Patricia Kirkman. How you doing tonight?
I'm getting ready to plan on thawing out for tomorrow because it's going to rain, and I think I'll just put my feet up and grab my umbrella and act like it's the beach time.
Okay.
Everybody should be happy with beach time coming. God.
We are all ready for beach time.
The weather is crazy.
I know. I remember Dr. J, who wrote the book about Bigfoot. He said it is snowmageddon in Oregon, and he's sick of it. He said whoever pissed off that character in Frozen better go apologize to her because everything is frozen out there. He sent pictures. It's horrible. And here we are in New England. We just got a few inches of snow, but nothing like what they have. They can keep it. They can keep it. We don't want it.
When Connie got home yesterday, they got 2 feet of snow at her house in Washington State.
She's in that northwest corner. Oh, my God.
Because, crazy. Very unusual.
It is insane. It is very unusual. Yes. I know. We're all ready for warm weather, I think. Yeah. Or Mother Nature. One or the other. Yeah. Maybe both. So tell us what's going on with the numbers.
Well, everything's a little crazy right now. We know that everything going on is all about communications of all sorts. For the year, lots of changes going on, but it's a 9-day. Nothing is going as planned. A lot of crazy stuff in the news. Everything from a fellow jumped into a car here and takes off, and there's a child in the back seat. Didn't know it, but he dropped it off at another place and left the child in it, which was nice of him. I mean, everybody's doing crazy things. We're not used to all these chaotic aspects, but it's getting us ready to wrap up some old stuff. We really have to start taking a look at what's coming because there's so many changes that are going to happen that we're really not even anticipating. We're just kind of thinking we're flowing with it, but it's going to be information coming before the month is over of some sort going to be user-friendly. So it's just kind of hang on to pay attention to the details. And I don't know why, but I'm keep some cash on hand just in case. Does that make sense? And I don't know why I've gotten that. But
what do you mean? Tell us more about that. Keep what on hand?
Well, user-friendly cash, okay? Because if things start to get gnarly with the governmental aspect of things, it's going to be kind of hard between the charging and et cetera. Having cash on hand would be very beneficial. I think all of us should have a little kitty put aside just in case. A lot of people have been counting on their income tax to do certain things with. The money is not going to come back like they thought it would. They expected to get a return, say, in a week or two, whatever the case may be. None of that's going to happen. Everything's going to be delayed by weeks. And some people, that extra cash is going to make a difference of how they eat or what they get the necessities they're going to need. And it's sad to have to say that, but that's what I'm getting. So
yeah, well, you know what? People should be careful. But yeah, right. Things are starting to wrap up. Look at that stupid waste of time Mueller investigation. I mean, they're now saying this is the biggest fraud perpetrated on all of us, and They found nothing, which is
No.
what we knew. But you also had said that, and I'd said that. It's just stupid, and it's vindictive, and it had no basis in reality. And now it's going to wrap up. And now they're saying they may not even issue a report. And I was listening to Howie Carr, my favorite radio personality today here in the Northeast, and he was saying, I want a report even if it's a blank page. We deserve a report.
Well,
I mean, he's one of the best radio hosts around for
conservative
news.
Look at how much money was spent on doing these things. And it's vindictiveness.
I know. It's
for God's sake, why don't we start out by shortening the length of time that these people stay in office? They're around too long and they're too busy in their pockets. That's the bottom line.
No, they're long in the tooth, and they get paid off, and they don't do what the people want. And so here we are today. So it's interesting to see that the truth is coming out yet again. You see that stupid green plan those idiots put forward, and it's just ridiculous. People have to smarten up. There's a lot of people that have to kind of walk away from some of the things that they thought they should believe in and start getting realistic. So it's very interesting times, and here we are in the middle of it. But we always have interesting stuff going on, always on our show. And we're lucky enough to be able to escape into the paranormal, That's we can make our escape right into that other world, and that's where we like to be. So anyways, we have some it's the best place, I'm telling you. You know what? We have some great stories on our Facebook page. We have a UFO crash, Irwin Mountain, and that is in North Wales. Check it out. That's on our page. And we also have some very spooky myths and legends that are taking place and have been taking place in East Texas. So take a look at those stories. There's some really cool pictures of the mysterious lights in East Texas on this particular road. Go look at it. It's great. We've been posting videos all week long for everybody to take a look at. Make sure you like us, follow us, and keep up with us on Twitter. Thank you, Haley. Haley is our new addition to the show. She is doing our live tweets during the show, helping out with a newsletter. And make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. Haley's putting it out every week. It's called The Fringe Files. And you can sign up on our website, supernaturalgirls.com. You can also get a hold of Patricia Kirkman there and get your own numerology reading. You can also go to patriciakirkman.com for that. And if you want dream analysis, soul realignment, that you can come to me for. And I am to be found at supernaturalgirls.com. Send me an email. Be happy to set something up for you, or at the very least answer your questions. We're always here to help our audience with anything they're interested in. That's our job.
Well,
that's what we do.
If they're on Facebook, go to my Facebook page, because every day I put out what the day is about. Okay? It's just a few little lines, but it tells you exactly what's going to come down universally. And I've done that every morning for a number of years. So that's where you can get the rest of the story.
Now, that is a good idea. And then you're ready to start your day, and you know what's coming energy-wise. And that's a very important thing in these times. But we've got some terrific guests tonight. We have 3 guests on our show tonight. And, oh, my God, I know this is going to be exciting. We've had these folks on before. They are favorite ghost hunters. And their names are Dan Baldwin, Rhonda Hull, and Dwight Hull. And they're with us. And we're going to hear from them in a minute, but I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're talking about. Spirits of the Old Southwest, more adventures into the paranormal. We're going to be hearing about the legends, the lies, the adventures of the Old Southwest, and that's as told to our guests by the spirits themselves. We're going to hear about the most haunted house in Tombstone, the Killing Field, the Clanton Ranch, and so much more. And we're here also to take your questions if you want to call in. The number is 563-999-3539. Again, that's 563-999-3539. Now, Dwight and Rhonda Hull along with Dan Baldwin, specialize in communicating with those who have crossed over. They are combining their psychic skills, and they search out history and unresolved deaths to find the truth. Now, Dwight has more than 30 years as a paranormal researcher and animal communicator, and Rhonda, she is a world-renowned psychic medium and has communicated with the dead for most of her life. Dan is a pendulum dowser who locates missing persons and is considered an expert in the field. Dan is also the author of more than 60 books. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Good to be here.
Good to be here as well.
Well, we're very happy to have you.
I
with
love
us, that's
it.
for sure. It's really interesting.
We love having
the book is fabulous. Yes.
We loved your book,
put it down.
Conversations with Spirits of the Southwest. Great book. And it gives such an enlightened perspective to all of what happened back in the Wild West. It was the Wild West, was it not?
It was. It was, so lawless and just kind of carefree, and, you kind of did what you want and there was no repercussions. So, when you have that happening and, all the deaths and everything, it just stirs up all that energy, and, it's still prevalent today. I mean, we face it every place we go down here.
Now,
It's
there's
amazing.
some really interesting stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, some of this stuff has been Hollywoodized, so we really don't know the truth about what happened, like the gunfight at the OK Corral and some of those things. You can please talk to us about any and all of these things. We'd like to know, well, what really did happen? What happened at the gunfight at the OK Corral? Who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Maybe it's not the way we think about this.
Well, as far as the gunfight goes, I can tell you that we have found out through investigation and talking to different spirits that the Clantons and McLowrys, okay, they weren't choir boys by any stretch, but they weren't near as bad as what Hollywood makes them out. Likewise, the Earps and Doc Holliday weren't quite the stainless steel shiny lawmen that Hollywood makes them out. They're fine line between wearing a badge and wearing a noose back then, and they crossed it several times. So we have found that the Clantons were pretty nice folk. We've talked to several of them. We've talked to Ike Clanton, I think, and we've definitely talked to the father, old man Clanton. And he's been welcoming every time we've gone out there to talk to him. Hollywood has definitely kind of, tainted things a little bit, but that's why we're here, I guess. We're trying to figure it out, and we go right to the source.
And what about Doc Holliday? Because he's been portrayed as the ultimate good guy. What's the story about him?
Well, he was friends with the Earps, which is fine. I don't think he was, as good guy as what Hollywood made him out to be. I mean, he came out here to the West to try to clear up his tuberculosis, and of course that didn't work out too well for him. He kind of pushed the boundaries a lot because he didn't want to die of tuberculosis. He wanted to die in a blaze of glory, so to speak. So I think that's one of the reasons he hooked up with, Wyatt Earp and the rest of the Earps, figuring, these guys are, kind of stir up trouble everywhere they go, so to speak. So, the best place to meet my end might be with these guys. So I think that might be a partial reason why he hooked up with them. But again, not as much of a good guy as what Hollywood makes out.
Yeah, excuse me, that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
With Hollywood, everything is so simple. Nobody was totally good. Nobody was totally bad. A lot of times, whether you were, quote, good or bad, depended on where you were at the time. One of the tragedies, I think, of the gunfight at the OK Corral was the two McLowrys. And I think that was they're portrayed as bad guys in the movies, but in reality, they just showed up and they were at the wrong place at the wrong time.
For heaven's sakes.
Oh.
Yeah. And when the fighting started, you stick with your buddies, and they paid the ultimate price for it. All they wanted to do at that time was get out of town.
Go ahead, Patricia.
Wow, not the way to go. So now you've also had a constant communication with Wyatt Earp's wife, and she was a rather tragic character in all of this. Still hangs around. Tell us about her.
Well, we have. We've talked to Maddie several times, both, at her gravesite in Pinal City, Old Pinal City. And she comes to visit Dwight and I quite often by invitation. She is, a tragic character of the Old West, although I feel a sisterly kinship, if you will, with her. She had her share of problems, but as we learned through talking to her, she was a very gifted woman, gifted as in, pendulum dowser, psychic, used it to help other people. So we found out more information about her, and Dwight and I invited her to come and visit us as often as she likes to sort of create new memories down in this area from the other side, because this area, holds nothing but bad memories with her time with Wyatt. So
I'd imagine. Bless her heart.
She's like
really
what happened?
Tell
our audience what occurred with Maddie, because I know a lot of people don't know what happened to her and why.
So towards the end of their stay in Tombstone, Wyatt met Josephine Marcus, and he hooked up with her. He basically left Maddie high and dry, and after Morgan was killed, Maddie went with the rest of the Earps to California. And then at some time after that, she moved up to what is now Superior, Arizona. And she lived maybe a few years, but not very long after that. And she died of a laudanum overdose. There was a couple of other things mixed in there, but laudanum was the main, that was a drug that they took at the time for... You want to go elaborate, honey?
Yeah, it's basically a real high strength cocaine, basically, or morphine, opium. More akin to opium, and it was a liquid, and it was extremely concentrated back then. So, literally, a drop or two would be more than enough to take care of it. So it would be very easy to overdose on that.
Well, so Maddie had some health issues, so she was in constant pain at the end of her life.
Yeah, but she was quite a drinker, though, wasn't she, throughout her life?
She was. She was a drinker.
I felt so. Well, he never married
So
her,
was this an accidental suicide?
No, it was not. It was intentional.
It was on purpose?
No,
She said it was intentional. Okay. Because sometimes you don't know when people start mixing their cocktails if it is intentional or not, but she told you it was.
Well, I mean, the coroner's report said it was. The I don't know if he was a doctor, but the guy who went and got her laudanum and her drink shortly before she died, he testified that she had taken both. She was, for all intents and purposes, she didn't want to go on. And she did relay that to us during our conversation.
Yeah. Well, did it?
It sounds like
her that he never married her. That Wyatt Earp never married her.
He didn't legally marry Maddie, although they were together over 15 years. He never legally, as far as anybody knows, married Josephine Marcus either. There's no paper record. I mean, there may have been, but there was.
Yeah.
But common law for both of them.
Yeah, just a traveling man, huh?
Yes.
God,
but
wow.
Wyatt and Maddie ran brothels together in Kansas and all over the Midwest. So they were together for a long time.
That's something.
And now, if having a business like that in more than one location, I would think it would be highly lucrative. Did they make a lot of money?
They did, and then they spent it. They'd make it and they'd spend it, and they changed. She would sort of use alternative names, and but yeah, they made their fortune, and then they'd spend it going somewhere else.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp was one of those guys that was always reaching for the brass ring and never quite making it.
Did they have any children?
Okay.
Did they have any children, Wyatt?
They did not. He had one child with his first wife, who died before he ever got. She died in childbirth. The child and the wife. So.
Oh.
Yeah,
because I didn't remember ever.
No heirs.
Anything about that. Well.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many fascinating stories that you've encountered, and as I was reading the book, I was thinking, gee, I don't know if human nature has changed all that much over the years. Maybe the rules have changed, but human nature, I mean, like you talk about in the beginning of the book, that man who was upset that his girlfriend had replaced him and ran after her with a gun and shot her and then shot himself. I mean, how many times do we see that today? But there it was even back then. People were acting crazy.
Nothing's changed. Just a different year.
Exactly. Times have changed, but people remain the same.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Kind of sad.
Well, in reading the book, I found it interesting. Some of the places that my husband had taken me to when he was alive, when I first came out here, and you've talked about so many of different places here in the book, and some of the places I'd forgotten about, like Cochise's stronghold and things like that. So it was very interesting for me to go through this and remember certain places that I had already heard about but had forgotten because, hey, I'm an Easterner. What can you expect, right? A lot to learn out here. That's sure.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Well, we have somebody waiting with a question. It looks like it's 727 area code. I'm going to get them live on the air and see. Hi, this is Supernatural Girls. What's your question?
Hi, 727-805.
Hello. Yes, what's your question for our guest tonight?
Hi, I wanted to see, I lived in Tucson for a while, and now I'm living in Florida. So my question was, I wanted to see how my work was going to progress here. I just recently started a new meditation class, and I wanted to see if any of you guys picked up anything around that.
So, Rhonda, did you want to take that one?
My birthday is 6/11/1949.
No,
we're
not doing readings this evening.
Your question is right. Again, like PK said at the beginning, I think this is going to be a year of a lot of change. I think, for me personally, I think the change is going to be good, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be struggle getting to it. Mm-hmm. I think that your mother is going to play a key role in this. Can I ask if your mom is alive?
My mother is on the other side. Yes, she is always communicating with me.
That's what I was picking up.
She's helping me. Actually, I'm supposed to be writing a hearing impaired book. I am hearing impaired, and my mom was as well. I'm learning sign language at the time, and I'm trying to fit that into the other things that I'm teaching right now. But I think that's what you might be trying to say.
I think that you need to do more meditation, because your mother is going to help you with this.
Okay.
You just need to listen.
Okay.
And by listen, I mean, listen. Really listen to whatever pops into your head when you're meditating and write it down, because that's Mom. Does that make sense?
How about you, PK? Can you give her any more insight with her birth date?
What was the birth date again?
My birthday or my mom's?
Yours.
My birthday is 6/11/1949.
Well, you're in a 2 years, so you're ultra sensitive. Most of the work that you will do right now, if it's done with a partner or with someone else, I think you'll find it'll move much smoother and more quickly.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that clearly because of my hearing aid.
Okay. If you work with a partner, you will find that your work will go more quickly and you will have more opportunities if you have someone else working with you. Look for
Okay, you mean in the class or the book?
Both. Look for next year for something to come from it. It's going to be about 6 to 8 months before you really feel that you've got a grip on it, and it'll be about 4 months after that before it opens up for you.
Okay.
So you're talking almost a year, about a year. Things will open, and then you'll feel better about what you're doing.
Okay. Right. It's just beginning, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sounds great. I'm open to wait it out and do the best I can.
Oh, good luck to you.
Well, good luck. And, yes, thank you so much for your call and for your question.
Thank you so much for your input.
Okay, so we're going to go back in time again and talk to you guys about some of the other things that you found on your journeys. Now, I remember last time you guys were on the show, and I asked you about Geronimo. Did you get a chance to talk to Geronimo yet?
You know, Rhonda and I went back up there not too long after we spoke. And, you know, we tried to get in contact with him, and, you know, he was I think he was playing games with us. We never really could get a good, strong, you know, sense that he was there. It would be, and kind of like what you said last time, he would kind of pop in and pop out, and pop in and pop out. Yeah, he would just never really give us, I think he was kind of playing and toying with us in a way. So, unfortunately, that time, no, we weren't able to actually have a good sit down or, you know, lack of a better term, a powwow with him. But, you know, we're going to go back up there again, hopefully soon, after all this, you know, nonsense with snow and rain stops, and see if we can't sit down and you know, have a chat with them. But yeah, that is definitely high on our list to do.
Oh yeah, it's at the top of the list.
Oh, that's good. Oh, good. He's a fascinating character in time, and
he is.
You know, that just the way you described him, being in and out, I think you really had his energy. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. I think you had him. You had the right guy, but I do think that he's a bit on the wily side.
Yes, he was a little bit squirrely
I think he was
day.
testing you. Yeah, he's
probably
testing you. Like, let's see how much they really want to talk to me. Yeah, I mean, I find him so fascinating because of his ability to move through portals. It was legendary that he would go through a portal and end up, you know, 50 miles away in a flash of an eye, and nobody could understand how he did it. But there are a lot of portals out there in the Southwest. Have you encountered any?
There are. Dwight?
You can take that, Dan.
Let Dwight take that one. He tells it better.
Okay.
Go for it.
There are a lot of portals out there. We ran into one literally, and I think we talked about it a little bit the last time we were on the show. But out in a little mining town called Sasko, just north of Tucson, there, we had kind of a, you know, I guess the best thing to say would be like a time slip, so to speak. You know, Rhonda and I were together. We, you know, kind of got separated from Dan because he wanted to go up and look on top of this one hill for some petroglyphs before we made the trip up there. And, you know, try to make a very long story short, we went looking for him. He went looking for us. And, you know, come to find out that, you know, we had passed him at least twice, and by passing him, I mean within 2 or 3 feet of each other, and we never saw each other, we never heard each other, nothing. And then all of a sudden, the time slip kind of stopped, and you know, Dan was kind of like right there on the road in front of me. You know, Rhonda had already gone back to the car looking for Dan and to try to rest up. I continued to look a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, there was Dan on the road coming towards me, and I was like, where have you been? He said, well, I've been right here and then at the truck. I said, well, Rhonda's at the car. He said, well, no, she's not. I just came from there. I said, trust me, she's there. So we walked down there, and it's only about maybe 50 yards. And, we walked down there, and, there's Rhonda, and she looked up and said, where are you guys been? We're like, I just saw him. We just walked back. She said, well, I just got back to the car and took a drink of water. I said, well, something happened here. And yeah, that was our first, I guess, true experience into some kind of a portal or a time slip or anything like that. And it was quite an experience. And we're going to hopefully try to go back to that same spot sometime here soon, and at least try to record to see if we can either find where the portal is, or see if we experience anything like that again, because that was truly a head scratcher for us.
Yeah, they were shouting my name out loudly, and at the same time they were shouting for me. And we're talking about a distance of less than 100 yards. I was at my truck for about 15 minutes, honking my truck horn 3 times about every minute, and they never heard me. I never heard them.
They never heard it. Wow. You know what? You guys better start wearing GPS locators, because this is the kind of stuff.
That's a thought.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, because I'm thinking about the missing 411 material, and I know, Dan, you've worked with finding missing people, but it is a bit troublesome, because these people hike out in the wilderness, and that you're certainly out in the middle of nowhere when you do these things, and they can end up walking through a portal and they can't be found. So it's like a shift in the reality. It takes you somewhere else, but close enough but far enough away that you can't be found. So one of the things that David Paulides recommends is that you wear a locator, so that something happens, that at least people can try to hone in on that beacon. I do recommend it. We don't want to lose any of you to another dimension. Thank you very much. We're happy to have you here with us.
That is for sure.
So now tell us about, what is this killing field? What is that?
Dwight, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can. The killing field. That's down here close to where we're at. It's in Hereford, almost by Palominas. And back in the 80s, a religious, and lack of a better term, cult moved into that area. And this group of people, they moved in from Chicago, and it was a big, kind of almost like a Jim Jones kind of a thing. They started causing a lot of problems in Sierra Vista and the surrounding communities, and it was just got pretty ugly, to the point where the police actually went to the neighborhood with arrest warrants and such, and everybody came out of their houses with sticks and bats and hammers and everything else, trying to attack the police. The police were trying to do their job at first, and then somebody got hurt, and then the gunshots rang out, and several people were shot and killed. It was all in this one field there, and it's just, if there's any place that I have ever been around the world, and I mean this literally, because I've been around the world to every place that you can think of pretty much, that is the one place where when I step into that field, I instantly feel like the hate and the ugliness, and Ron and I both got sick to our stomachs. I mean, it was just that strong. So yeah, it's called the killing fields because some people were killed there. We decided, like I say, Ron and I had been there before, but we wanted to do this for the book, so we got together with Dan and said, hey, let's head down there. And when we got there, we parked on the street, and I'll be honest with you, and if you read that chapter in the book, you'll see that I am conspicuously absent from the dialogue, and that's because I stayed with the truck on the street, because I knew as soon as I stepped into that field what would happen. But Rhonda, kind of endured it, and Dan kind of endured it, and they went into the field. I kind of acted as an overwatch kind of a thing, where I would wait and there in case anything happened to either one of them, I can go in and get them, or I figured if all three of us are sick, we're not going to do each other any good. So they went in and they did the investigation, and eventually I think helped cross somebody over actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the killing field is it's just one of the more lack of a better term, ugly places down here. It's just still to this day, it just holds on to that energy, that bitter, ugly energy, and it's a force to be reckoned with when you go into it. So yeah, the chapter in the book is a great chapter. It tells a lot of the history on it, and some of the feelings that they had going into it.
Yeah, let me drop in with my 2 cents on this. They took me there, and I was kind of expecting, maybe to be a little bit sick. And, you can set yourself up so that you feel something you expect to feel, but this was real. Mm-hmm. Like I was on the pavement and stepped over onto the killing field and got instantly sick in my stomach. And as an experiment, I jumped back on the pavement, and I felt okay. Stepped in the field, got sick, back on the pavement, okay. Back in the field, got sick in my stomach again.
Oh, wow. So much
Oh,
hatred.
my God.
That's incredible. Good grief. And
that's why I stayed on the street.
Well,
Rhonda shared me through that one.
The neighborhood. Go ahead.
They could think. I was going to say, was there ever any reason that was made known why these people were so hateful and argumentative with everybody and anybody?
Well, they were from the inner city of Chicago, so it was quite a different lifestyle change out here. Mm-hmm. I think it was during a time that there was still a lot of tensions, and even to this day, those people all went back to Chicago, but actually the preacher lady, the head lady, she was a follower of a man called A.A. Allen, who was a missionary, preacher, swindler, whatever. He was kind of a
traveling man,
strange character. Yes, but he had a church right across the highway from where they were, and they originally wanted to move into the same building, but they couldn't. But to this day, the neighborhood watches over that field. So that's another reason Dwight stayed at the truck, because neighbors will come out and stare at you, come up to you, ask you what you're doing. They're very protective over that area. So,
oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like a good place to stay away from. Gosh.
Well,
so
Hereford isn't very big. I mean, how many people live in the Hereford area? I don't remember seeing very many there.
It's growing, but there's probably, 700 to 1,000, maybe 1,500 people in that area.
Because my stepson moved there, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And he spent a lot of time in Tombstone. They do Jeep tours and things like that. So he's out and about in the area. So I get to hear some stories every once in a while, but it's incredible. It just amazes me what goes on or what has gone on. Reading your book has been so interesting because there's so many things I didn't even know were in this area. I've been here 25 years, but that doesn't mean anything unless you get involved with it.
That's true.
Incredible, great stories.
So what was it? Yes, it's a great book. And again, the name of the book is called Conversations with Spirits of the Southwest, More Adventures into the Paranormal. Now, was there anything that surprised you during any of your investigations? Because, it sounds like you're used to hearing some of these stories, but is there anything that really took you by surprise?
Speaking for me, hearing my name called out.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
who
did that?
We were down at Fort Rucker, and I was kind of popping off and said, we were in one of the rooms, and I said, I think maybe the spirits are here, or all the spirits are here. And we recorded a voice that said, "Not yet, Dan."
Oh, boy.
That's a bit
they
chilling.
Were waiting for you, Dan.
It's like they knew
Yeah,
that
we've
you
all-
were coming too.
Yeah, that was a highlight for me.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
Definitely information
That
from
would
the other
be.
side.
That
It's
would
very
be.
interesting. You use your pendulum very much throughout with what you do. How do you know when is the appropriate time, shall we say? Or is there a specific thing or time that you use the pendulum, or is it a certain feeling that you get that you decide to use it?
No, you just use it whenever the mood strikes.
From what I gather from the book, you're quite a pro at the pendulum aspect of it.
Yeah, during the day I do a lot of readings, but I don't have a specific time set out for anything like that. It just, again, whenever the mood strikes, and whenever we're out in the desert or in a field or in a ghost town or something, you just that's when you do it.
Do you ask specific questions while you're there? What draws you to the area? Say if you're in an area, what you feel, do you ask questions about what you feel, or do you let the pendulum tell you what to look for?
Oh, no, you ask very specific questions. You have to ask yes or no questions because the pendulum can only swing, left or right. So right would be yes, left would be no. And Dwight and Rhonda kind of lead off and kind of set the direction because they get a very good feeling for where we need to go. And then once we know that, I can start asking very specific questions.
Oh, that's great. Well, definitely a perfect team.
Yes, you all have such great abilities, and it is, you complement each other so well, and that really comes across in the book, that you all help each other to get to the truth with these folks. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a very short commercial break, and we're going to come back, and I have a very big question for all of you. So we will be back in just a few moments, and everybody, stay tuned. You are listening to Supernatural Girls Radio.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.cosmicfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Astridian is a family of cosmetic products with 98% pure ionized minerals. We combine our science with a blend of essential oils to nourish and take care of your skin's health. How does it work? All Astridian products contain the proprietary redox technology, having the capability of simulating an ionic zinc-copper superoxide dismutase effect. This free radical scavenger currently in your body has been diminished by toxins and the daily stresses of life. It is a perfectly balanced mineral complex that all $200 an hour dermatologists, their professors, and ancient history have proven. Redox technology is a process of reducing the skin's oxidation by transferring electrons from a radical state to a stress-free normal condition. Oxidative stress is a form of cellular aging, and as science has proven, a precursor to disease. The free radical theory of aging states that organisms age because cells accumulate free radical damage over time. Damaged cells are not beautiful, but healthy cells are. The Astridian family is presented in 4 different uses that cover unique benefits to your body. They are the Essential Anti-Aging Series, the Multivitamin Series, Sports Series, and Professional Series. Regain your youth with the power of Astridian. Visit www.astridian.com and inquire. Use the code SUPERNATURAL and receive a 10% discount on your first purchase. Australian, the beauty of being healthy.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, here with my co-host, PK, and our terrific guests tonight, Dwight and Rhonda Hull and Dan Baldwin. We are talking about spirits of the old Southwest, the true stories. What really happened back then? So I have a question for all of you, and each of you can answer, one of you can answer, but here's my question. Today we have, I'd like to think, anyways, more understanding about death, about passing over, spirituality, consciousness. So most of us have an understanding of what's likely to happen when we die. In the old Southwest, things were quite different in terms of the level of consciousness. Do you think the level of consciousness back then was more likely to keep them tied to the land or the houses or the ranches that they were associated with?
Well, that's a really good question. I guess a short answer would be, yeah, I think it does. But I also think that, back then in the Old West, and I know even today, we have our house, we consider it ours, but back then literally that's all they had. They came out here just to do that, or just to get rich, or so they had a very visceral emotional tie, a very strong tie to wherever they were at, their home, their mind, their family, whatever. So when we walk into some of these ghost towns or mining areas, we're a lot of times, and especially Rhonda, she's very quick to pick up on, okay, there's one person up, there's three people. It's like they are right there, not really defending their area, but letting us know that they're there. And I think it's because they do have such a very strong, deep bond with, their property, their land, their house, whatever. So, yeah, I think it kind of keeps them around here because they enjoyed it so much, they loved it so much, so they want to stay here. I think once we pass over, no matter what our level of consciousness is about the subject, when we're alive, I think when we pass over, we kind of get a very quick education, so to speak. And we have found that there's, several options actually, through talking to different spirits. Once you pass over, there's several options that you can do or not do or whatever. So, and we're still trying to get to the bottom of all those. We're still trying to learn those and ask the right questions to find out more. But, yeah, boy, to answer your question, yeah, I think to some degree, yes, it was a level of understanding or consciousness about death that does help to keep them here. But I also think it was, much more of a stronger emotional, visceral bond to the area.
That makes sense. It really does, because there's no lack of spirits. When you guys go on your journey, you don't have any trouble finding them. They are everywhere, it seems, in the Southwest.
They are. They are. There's a lot of times we'll go out, hoping to speak to somebody that we know was in the area or at a specific location. And before we ever get there, we're distracted by somebody else who's like, hey, look at me, I want to talk to you, let's go over here. So they are literally everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And now, also, let's see. Now, Dwight, you are an animal communicator. Do you encounter animals, pets, or other types of wild animals even when you're doing this work that want to talk?
Yeah, on occasion we do. Rhonda and I, we run into it all the time. Now, there's a chapter in the book, Adamsville, where we went to a cemetery that's located in Adamsville. It's an older cemetery. We were just kind of walking through trying to get the feel of the place, and before we even got to this one area, I said, I'm really kind of picking up an animal presence here, so I kind of left it, and we walked a little further, and there's a grave of a dog. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I actually got down on my hands and knees and put my hand on the grave, and was actually able to connect with this dog. I knew what kind of a dog it was. I knew how it died. It was happy where it was at, and he said his owner comes by every once in a while and cleans up his grave, so he's happy that basically Daddy's coming back to talk to him, because I guess this guy talks to the dog every time he comes there. So, yeah, on occasion we do. It's kind of an interesting thing when you go to a ghost town. You're expecting to talk to people, and all of a sudden, here's this dog in front of you, saying,
right.
Hey, look at me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and you kind of get a different perspective from the animal or the dog's point of view. So that does help a lot, kind of clear up, some of the things in that area.
Now, being an animal psychic the way you are, people have been texting me. They also want to know, when you're out and you're doing your work, do you also encounter wild animals that you talk to about the area that maybe are alive? You have a lot of wild things out there. You've got mountain lions, you've got snakes, you've got coyotes. Have you ever talked to any of them about specific areas where you're investigating?
I've run into it on occasion. It's just a lot of times, being wild animals, they do, of course, have a natural fear of humans, so they don't like to stick around. So I don't get a lot of time. Now, I can tell you, and I know this is going to probably sound strange to some of your listeners, but during an event we had here one time, we took like 35 people out to the old Clanton ranch, and myself and Dan, I think one other person, I said, let's go up the hill first and make sure there's no rattlesnakes, because it was towards the end of May, and sure enough, there was one there, so we kept everybody back. But I was actually, for the first time, I was actually able to connect with this snake, this rattlesnake, and he calmed down. He stopped rattling, and I got extremely close to him. In fact, Dan got some pictures of it. And I was telling him, hey, look, we got a group here, please, we're not going to mean you any harm. And he basically was telling me, I don't mean you guys any harm, but don't get any closer, that kind of a thing. So that was really interesting for me, because I had never attempted to really talk to a rattlesnake before, but I was actually able to connect. So
Dwight, don't get any closer. Well, wait, I'm talking to it. Let me crawl right under the tree.
yeah, that was kind of an interesting dynamic there, but because I kept getting closer and I kept hearing, you're getting too close. I know what I'm doing. Hush, wild animals are kind of a different thing. They don't. Yeah, we have wild animals that come into our backyard that I communicate with, and we got a coyote here that I know has at least one pup that she takes care of. So we call her Mama. She comes by every once in a while, and if I can get a chance, I connect with her. And it's an interesting, very visceral, different feeling talking to a wild animal than it is talking to a pet. I love all animals, and I welcome any opportunity to connect and communicate with any of them.
It's a wonderful gift that you have. Yeah, it really is. And I know that our audience loves animals and loves hearing about communicating with them. And I've heard from other animal psychics that, yes, it's true that wild animals have a very different language than our pets. So you really have to tune in differently, I guess, when you speak with them. We had a beautiful fox up here, and I saw him from a distance, And I said to him, I just love you. You're so beautiful. Well, the next thing I knew, he was sleeping on our retaining wall. I mean, he just came right up to the house. And, but the thing was, he felt safe, I guess, and he was beautiful, and he never bothered me or my dogs. It's just like we just appreciated each other. So it was a very interesting experience. I have pictures of him sleeping right up against the house, and he is remarkable. And of course we're very grateful because he eats all the chipmunks that destroy the retaining wall. So it's a wonderful relationship having him up here. But it's great. It's great to see that. And my God, I am so in awe of you, Dwight, that you were able to talk to a rattlesnake. I think that is just incredible. Good for you for having the courage.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want to thank you too for talking out loud to that fox. I try to tell people because everybody says, God, I wish I had your gift. Well, if you just talk out loud in a very low voice, very calming voice, a lot of times they can understand you. So I thank you for actually talking to that fox because obviously he did understand what your intentions were, and that's why he feels safe there now. And I think if we all did that to animals, I think they might actually be a little more, friendly and giving to us instead of us yelling at them or hunting them or whatever. Just talk to them, and they can pick up on what you're trying to say. They can if they don't know your words, they know your feeling, they know your emotion, and that's more important. That speaks more volumes than words in a lot of ways.
Well, that's a very good point, and I think you're absolutely right. They feel our feelings. They know. And I think that's one of the attributes they have that does keep them safe because they can feel when there's a hunter in the area. They can feel when someone means them harm. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really important to express that love and know that they're safe in certain areas. So, yeah, I also have a healthy respect for them. Because they are wild and territorial. So.
It's funny that Dwight and I had a smudging call the other day, and we went over to this client's house, and our client had a dog. It was like a Labradoodle sort of puppy. And so we weren't there for Dwight to talk to the dog, but that's not one of my strong points is animal communication. So I've been trying to practice. And so Dwight's doing his thing, smudging the house, and I'm the animal. The dog was, kind of coming up to me and smelling me, and I kept telling him how beautiful he was, what a handsome boy he was, and then at the end of the time we were there, I was trying to connect with him, trying to send him telepathically my feelings towards him, and all of a sudden he started to kind of snarl at me. And she's like, what's going on? And Dwight's like, oh, don't worry about it. He doesn't like her being in his head. So I was connecting. He was connecting with me, too. But I'm so new to that I was very sort of blunt and forceful, and I didn't, ease my way in like Dwight does. And so he was like, what are you doing in my head?
Oh, my goodness. He didn't like it. Oh, that's so interesting. This is really important information. It really is. Yeah,
but the key point, he just made my day because I knew I'd connected. Yes, I was so excited. So anybody can do it. You just have to really practice with your animal or whoever that animal is. You just have to really practice at sending telepathic messages and being open to them sending it back to you.
Exactly.
In the backyard here, and the animals come up. They only come up to the large tree in the middle of the backyard. And one night we were having dinner, and all of a sudden I looked at the carpeting right outside the sliding glass door, and there stood a bobcat looking at me as we're having dinner, and kind of like, "Oh, you're eating now," and just kept on walking. And I went, "Oh my God!"
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're beautiful bobcats. They really. Is somebody have a cat? Because I keep hearing a cat. Have a cat?
Children and yes, we do.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
That's
no, that's fine. We love it.
Yeah, there are 3 cats up here too.
Yeah, we get on the phone and she has to talk. So.
Oh, that's fine. Well, that's nice. Give her a hug from us, as we love having animals. No problem. I just wanted to make sure they were alive. That's all. We always have to.
She doesn't trust it. I'm curious. What about?
Yeah, I'll give my cat Saberfang a hug for you.
Oh, yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
In the book, you were talking about Uncle Simon in the Civil War. I found that fascinating, that how he came about with his actions, with his feelings about everything that took place. Out of curiosity, when you asked him there, did he see his own funeral, or had he come to his own funeral? Quite unique man. Can you tell us
Dan, you want
about
to take that?
Oh, you guys take it. You're closer.
Well, Uncle Simon.
Tell them about the headstone too.
Yeah, I will. Uncle Simon was he was, I guess, a Buffalo soldier. He served in the military for more than 30 years. Came out to Arizona, bought a plot of land. He owned actually quite a large acreage, I believe. He was one of very few African American men in Cortland at that time.
Right.
And he was a very, very tall man, very well respected and very well liked. I think more people came out to his funeral than any other funeral in that town. And during like 1919, in the early 1900s, there was a lot of deaths, I think, from pneumonia, a lot of viruses that were going around. But Uncle Simon was very well loved and very well respected. So this cemetery sits way back off the road. I didn't even know it was there until a friend of ours asked us to join her one time. And so it was very overrun. Headstones were broken, and cattle runs through there quite often, so they had stepped on broken others. So our friend found several military, but she couldn't really make out others. But Uncle Simon she could make out. So she ordered him from the VA. She ordered him a new headstone. So that took some doing, but she got it. She contacted the BLM and organized a big party, and everybody went out and did fencing around the whole cemetery, cleaned it all up, put signage, really fixed it up nicely. So we went out there to do our investigation, and were able to contact Uncle Simon. And we also, I think, sort of talked to with somebody that we talked to in our first book, who we crossed over at the Cortland jail. He showed up. But very, very interesting conversation that location was.
It's amazing that he would come through as he did. It was almost like he was waiting for you to get there.
He might have been waiting to talk to somebody who was willing to listen to his story. He was such a great man. In fact, we had a ceremony just a few months ago with the lady who got the headstone and all that. And we had several people come out to speak, somebody from the BLM, and in fact we had a sergeant major from Fort Huachuca, who is a Buffalo soldier, come out, and he talked about Uncle Simon. So it really brought it full circle, and I know that Uncle Simon was really appreciative that we took the time to do that.
Oh, I bet so. Well, he was part of the original Buffalo Soldiers.
Yes. Uncle Simon was. Yes.
Yeah. That's quite a story in itself, the Buffalo Soldiers.
Yes, it is.
Now, you guys are all, I know, very involved with the historical aspects of the Old Southwest, but you also do other things. I mean, you are each psychics, and I know, Dan, let's start with you, because you've been involved with finding missing people, and that's a really wonderful thing that you do. So tell our audience a little bit more about that and how you use the pendulum, to locate people. You are considered an expert with this, and I know our audience wants to hear from you about that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I'm an expert or not. I've been doing it a while. I've written a couple of books about it. Basically, with the pendulum, it's a rock on the string. It's the same process that you see on TV a lot with the old guy out with the witching stick, the Y-shaped willow stick looking for water. I think everybody's pretty familiar with that. It's the same process, except I use a rock on a string. And oversimplifying a bit, but if you ask a question and if the rock swings to the right, that's a yes. If it swings to the left, that's a no. And through a process of elimination, you'll find missing persons. And basically, it's a process of elimination. Is the person in Arizona? Yes or no? You get a yes. Well, is the person in northern Arizona? You get a no. Then is he in southern Arizona? Yes. Is he east of I-17? Yes or no? Is he south of Highway 60? Eventually, you can take an area from the size of basically the Earth down to square foot.
Now, do you use a map when you do this?
I use a map. Normally, I start out with a series of questions. One, is this a case I should be working on? Yes or no? Is this person physically alive? Am I looking for a living person, or am I looking for someone who is deceased? Is the person stationary? Is the person on the run? And I can use a map. I can also ask just specific questions. Is the missing person in Phoenix? Is the person in North Phoenix, and so on? Then you can get down to a building. Is the person on 1234 Street or 12345 Street? Is the person on the second floor? Is the person in apartment 2B?
That's very specific.
That's how this whole thing got started. Rhonda and I worked a lot of cases together several years ago. We shared cases, and we kind of became friends on by telephone and by email. And one day we discovered we had an interest in the Old West, and they invited me down there to tour some ghost towns. And at one point, the light bulb kind of went off. I had one of those duh moments. And they said, why don't we try to combine all of our skills and see if we can make contact? And that was the first time we did it was at that Cortland jail, and it worked. And that's kind of what started the whole thing off.
Oh my,
that's amazing.
Now,
so the missing persons led to the ghost books, really.
Yeah, you found the other missing people from the Southwest that had died. Now, what about if somebody has a missing person, a friend or a relative? How can they get a hold of you?
Generally, I only take cases that are referred to by police authorities, so they can get to me through the police or the FBI or the Forest Service or whatever organization is working the case.
Mm-hmm.
So they can request your help through them?
Yes, but I don't do it directly because for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's inundated with
sure.
One, inundated, and two, I don't want to end up stepping on the police's. I don't want to step on their feet.
Yeah,
I want to work with them,
you don't think
not
about
against
that
them.
aspect of it. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, thank you.
As the three of you are, does she join you in this?
Say again?
I said, you mentioned it, right? And at one time, is she interested in working with all this with Rhonda and Dwight and you?
Oh, my wife?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, she is very forgiving. She has a psychic ability herself, but she is doing other things right now. But I will say I am blessed to have a wife who, when I say, well, I'll be gone for a couple of days, I'm going out in the desert looking for a dead person. Okay.
Well, the main thing is that she's understanding. I didn't know if she was involved with it with you or not, but she evidently is.
She's a key supporter of the team, but she's not actively involved in the investigations.
Well, nothing like having good moral support at home.
Yeah, that's important. That really is, really. Now, Dwight, we know that you do animal communication, so people can contact you if they want you to contact their animal, right? Is that something that you offer as like a session for people?
Yeah, I do. They can contact me either through the website, which is Believe Paranormal, BEELIEVE, paranormal.com. We're also on Facebook. They can contact me through there as well. And speaking of that, I don't know what's going on in the universe here lately, but boy, the energy has really shifted or something, because, Ron and I have been working animal cases probably the last 3 weeks. We've just been inundated lately, just one after another, which is, I love it, because I'm able to help, either grieving, humans over their lost animals. We have a case Saturday. We have to go over to somebody's house that the animal is grieving over the loss of another animal. And later that night, we have to go talk to an animal that was just diagnosed with cancer. So the owner wants me to come over and kind of talk with her. So it's just I don't know what's going on in the universe, but I'm thankful for it. I'm very blessed to have people contact me about doing it. And yes, they can contact me at any time on the website or on Facebook. I do not charge for my service. I want to make that very clear. I never charge for my service. It's a promise I made to my grandmother, who also had the gift and realized it in me very early in life. So she mentored me. And not too long before she passed, she told me, she said, Dwight, you have to promise me that you're going to use your gift to help people, not make money. And I said, yes, ma'am, I will do that. So that's what I have carried on. And I never charge people for it. And we have driven hundreds of miles to do this for people, and I don't ask for a penny, because my and Rhonda's big joy to get out of it is to help the people and the animal. That's what it's all about.
That's however you both, and all three of you. Yeah.
Oh, he might be a little backed up right now, so if you do email him, just letting you know.
Yeah.
Well, after the show.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's interesting, Dwight, because you did mention that you feel something has shifted, and I think something has. I just heard the strangest story the other day. It was in the news. I don't know if you all heard it as well. But these monkeys built a ladder to escape their enclosure, and they got out.
Yes. I
did
hear about that.
That's the wildest thing. And then they came back because they realized they weren't supposed to leave. And probably that's where their food was, right? That was their restaurant. Yeah. But, the fact that they built a ladder together, that they thought this through together, this is just remarkable. I think animals are smarter than us anyways, but when it comes to things like this, this is just unbelievable. And I think something is shifting and something is opening even for animals to be able to do these types of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're exactly right. Animals are a lot smarter than what humans give them credit for. Dr. Dolittle, one of my favorite movies in the world, obviously. But, why do we treat animals like animals? Because they're a lot smarter than we are. I can tell you that.
They are.
These monkeys, and I was kind of torn. I was cheering for them, because it's like, yay, you guys are, you made. But then after they got out, I thought, now they're going to get injured or hurt because they did get out. So please, I'm talking, in my head, I'm thinking, God, I hope they get back. And they did. They came back because they're smart. They know where the restaurant is. So, animals of all kinds are incredibly intelligent. When we just have to remember that when we talk to them.
That's so true. Everybody needs to know that and respect them. That is the absolute goal here. With all of the work that you do, I'm sure you are imparting that wisdom to people, and that's great work. Great work. Now, Rhonda, tell us about you, because you're an incredible psychic. You picked up on something today and contacted me, and you were right on the money. You're also a healer as well as a psychic medium. So tell us what you do.
I am, a psychic medium, so pretty much all of the clairs, mediumship, psychometry, medical intuitive, healer. I started at a very young age, sort of developing very slowly over the years. Everybody is gifted. It's just a matter of recognizing it and learning about it and practicing your gift. So I do readings for people. Oftentimes, Dwight and I will go to a pet reading, and I will pick up something that is humanistic to the animal, and he will work with the animal to pick up something from the other perspective. So I do a lot of free work, free readings on my Facebook. I do a lot of private readings for free, although sometimes I do charge. But it's really kind of case by case. I never charge when I'm contacted for missing person cases, or if somebody has just recently lost a loved one. I typically never charge for that kind of work. Just contact me, and we'll try to get you in touch with whoever you've just lost. But my joy really comes from helping people, spreading awareness, awakening people. That's where I love it. That's the real joy in life.
That sounds wonderful. You said you have a Facebook page. Is that what it is to contact?
I do. Rhonda Hull Psychic Medium. So that's my public page. I do readings every Wednesday, sometimes twice a week. Usually just on Wednesdays. They can also contact me through the website. My email is on there. Feel free to reach out to me. Post something when I do my readings, and
that's nice to know that people care like you do, like all three of you do, to help other people as well as the animals. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like when you go out investigating, that because you're all three so open-hearted, that the people, the spirits are drawn to you to tell their truth, and you don't have to worry about them being nasty, because it doesn't sound like you've had really any negative experiences, have you?
Absolutely. I think one of the reasons we get such a good response, and one of the reasons we get such lengthy responses, is just our attitude, and that's something I picked up from Dwight and Rhonda right off the bat. Is when you're going into a haunted house, you're going into somebody's house or their place of business, and you should act that way, courtesy and respect. And I think that's reciprocated.
Right. It is, because
it's
I
all
haven't
about.
heard anything.
I'm sorry. It's all about intention.
No.
It's all about your intention,
it is.
and spirits know that.
I think that's fabulous that they can pick up everything.
It is. Now, there are people who do this kind of work, but they do encounter things that are not so friendly. There are demons out there. There are interdimensionals who like to be nasty. But you haven't had any of that.
No, not really. Like I say, we've come across, angry. We've come across mad. We've come across unpleasant. You wouldn't want the spirit of Charles Manson in your house. I mean, that kind of thing. Thank you. I've been doing this for 34, 35 years, been all over the world. I can honestly say, without any reservation, I have never run into anything that I would consider demonic. I'm sure it's out there. I have no doubt about that, but I have never run into it. And I think a lot of that, like Dan said, is our intention and how we go in. We all three of us, we treat the spirits with respect. And I think whatever you put out, you get back. We don't go in kicking doors and angry, because, spirits know your intention. They can feel your energy. So if you go in angry and start kicking chairs and demanding and provoking, you're going to get that back. And in most cases,
so right.
And you're not going to get a lot of answers. All you're going to get is hate and anger. That's not what we're out there for. We know ghosts exist. We don't need proof of that. We want to talk to them and get their story. And the only way to do that is to, show respect. And they, for the most part, they do the same for us. Now, we've gotten some spirits that just didn't want to talk, and we respect that too. We're saying, okay, we respect that, and we'll be on our way. Thank you for having us. So, for everybody out there listening, and I'm not going to say anything bad about the shows on TV. All I'm saying is don't watch the shows like it's an instruction manual. treat
good
your
advice.
Spirit. Yeah, treat the spirits with respect. Because if you really want to communicate, you really have to show respect. And Dan has said a number of times, we go in like we're having a cup of coffee. We sit down, and a lot of times, be honest with you, a lot of times we have a cup of coffee. Literally, we just sit down in the middle of the desert, and there we are. But just treat them with respect. And I think that's the key to any kind of investigating, psychically or with the pendulum or with any kind of tool. Use respect; you'll get a lot more out of it.
That is great advice. Yeah, this is really good that you're saying this to our audience. I know our audience is, I think, one of the smartest and best in radio, and I know that they appreciate hearing that from you. And a case in point, the other day I was watching something that happened to a young couple. They went to Mount Pleasant, West Virginia, where Mothman had been sighted before the collapse of the Silver Bridge. And since then, also, Mothman has been sighted. But they did exactly the opposite of what you're talking about. They went to where they were told Mothman was, and they provoked the crap out of them. They said, "Is anybody here?" And, brought their recorder. And the voice, when they played it back, when they got home, it said, "I am here." But guess what? Because they were so provocative and disrespectful, Mothman followed them home. And they ended up with these huge handprints from Mothman on their walls and dishes breaking and all kinds of poltergeist things that were happening. The phone would ring and nothing would be there, or there would be this deep guttural, sound on the other side. They had one thing after another. They ended up moving away from that house, and it followed them. So, yes, a word of caution. You guys are right. Don't do that. I mean, don't provoke. Whether you think Mothman is real or not, obviously this couple found out the hard way that it's not a good thing to fool around with. Be respectful. They went into Mothman territory and did everything wrong, and they paid the price. They say they still are paying the price. They can't seem to come to terms with what's going on. I don't think they've learned their lesson yet about being respectful. I really don't.
Scary.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, and that's what happens. You don't want to poke the dog. I keep telling people that. Don't poke the dog.
Right.
So.
Yes. Exactly. Now, I know we only have about 5 or so minutes left, but tell us about this Clanton Ranch. What's that about? This haunted place.
The Clanton Ranch it's an amazing little place. There's not much left of it now, unfortunately, between vandals and just weather. But the partial wall is still there. That's where the Clantons were. That's where they lived. Old man Clanton, the father, who is kind of the patriarch of the family. Ike and Billy all lived there, and it was kind of cowboy headquarters. Curly Bill would go out there, John Ringo would go out there, the McLaurys would go out there. So it was kind of not only just a house, but it was kind of their clubhouse as well. So just an amazing place, way out in the middle of nowhere, literally. Boy, we've been out there so many times, and we always got a nice welcoming feel every time we've gone out. We've brought Dan out there several times, and it's always been a great experience. Dan's always got a lot of good hits on the pendulum. We get a good, lack of a better term, warm fuzzy feeling when we go out there because they're just so welcoming. Really kind of turned our heads as far as our opinions, from Hollywood, like we said earlier in the show. Where they're just bad, bloodthirsty, cutthroat people. But you know what? They're really not. We enjoy going out there. We almost consider them a family, like long lost uncles and such. When we go out there, we've gotten some amazing EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon recordings, out there from what we believe for sure is Mr. Clanton. Always given a very recognizing us and welcoming us. So Yeah, we love the Clanton Ranch. It's about 6 or 8 miles from Tombstone. Like I say, kind of out in the middle of the desert. But it's a great place to go. It's close to where Rhonda and I live now, so if we're just bored one day, we just say, well, let's go out and visit Uncle Clanton's. So we'll just go out there and go out there and we'll sit down and literally again have coffee and just talk to them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't even record. We just go out there and talk to them, just like they're our uncles or whatnot. And
it's neat.
Yeah. I love it. Isn't that wonderful? Now, your EVPs, some of them people can actually hear on your website. I was listening to them today. And give us an example of some of the EVPs that you have received that are pretty startling.
Well, one of the EVPs is from the Clanton Ranch. And again, they can go to the website, go to our book page, and there is you can click on each book, and it'll take you to the place where you can hear the EVPs for that book. But so one of the EVPs is from the Clanton Ranch. It's Dwight and I had gotten lost. It was our first time there, and we had walked several miles. When we finally arrived, we were really tired. We were cut up from mesquite brush, which has thorns like rose thorns on them, and it was very thick. Okay, so we were all bloody and tired and sweaty. And so I'm calling out just the names, Clanton's, whoever, John Ringo, and a very clear voice, sounded like he's right there with me, says, over here, long way, really bad brush sting. So brush sting was a term that in the 1800s, apparently, from being cut up by the mesquite. We did not know that. We had to Google it.
Oh, my goodness.
So... yeah, I mean, you rarely get EVPs that are like a sentence. Usually it's one or two words. So that was really, a wow moment for us. And we've gotten the same voice time after time. So probably Mr. Clanton. We've gotten a voice of who we believe Mattie Earp at the Buford House, the most haunted house in Tombstone. Mm-hmm. Last year at our event, we were investigating, talking to one of the ghost children of the house. And Maddie gave me her signal that she was there, but I didn't pay attention to it. I was focused on talking to the 2-year-old ghost child. And after we got done and we took a break, one of my friends pointed out to me that, hey, she did your phone. Maddie's here. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's right. That's right. So the next day, one of our other friends came to the book signing that we were doing and played the EVP that she caught right as my phone lit up twice. That's our signal from Maddie to turn on my camera twice. The EVP right after that happened is a woman yelling my name, whispering but yelling. So we've gotten some really, really good, clear EVPs.
Oh, wonderful. Gosh, I'd say. Yeah. It's so exciting. Well, all three of you make the most fantastic team, and we're so grateful that you joined us on the show tonight with your new book. And again, we're going to tell everybody the name of it. You can get it on Amazon, Conversations with Spirits of the Southwest, More Adventures into the Paranormal. It is by Dan Baldwin, Rhonda Hull, and Dwight Hull. And please keep us posted on your incredible adventures. We'd love to have you back. And I hope you do get to talk to Geronimo. Tell him I said hello when you can nail him down.
We will.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll be back next week, everybody, with another exciting show. And until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural Girls.
Hey, thanks, guys. That was a great show.
Thanks for having us. That was a lot of fun.
I thought that went well. Thank you, guys.
Hey, it's our pleasure. We really enjoyed having you on as our guest. Really, it's wonderful. So please do keep us posted. I want to know about Geronimo. I'm not kidding.
We'll do.
We will.
We will for sure.
All right. Well, you be safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.